Hola, bom dia. Carl Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal live stream, YouTube channel and podcast. How are you today? I am here on this Friday, looking forward to the weekend and being able to wish you a bon fin de semana, which is vocabulary I hope you've embraced by now on today's show, on this morning's show. This room, I think, is sounding a bit echoey. Let's bring that mic a bit closer. Yes, the weather, the weekend weather, rain returning to Portugal. We will take a look because the state of contingency kicks in on the 15th of September here in Portugal. And I believe also, yes, for those of you toing and froing it from the UK, England, as part of the UK, has reinstated quarantine in relation to Portugal. We will be looking at Ana Gomes's official launch for the presidency. She is the anti-corruption candidate, so that should be interesting. Rui Pinto, our whistleblower man who is on trial in Lisbon over the football leaks and Luanda leaks, says his whistleblower work is finished. We'll just quickly have a look at the unfolding of his momentous and historic trial, which is a real snapshot, I think, of the state of humanity around the world, actually, or part of this incredible picture of 2020, anyway. And by complete contrast, to conclude our Portugal week, where we've been looking at bread, a simple bread recipe. How good is that? You can call me if you want to talk about any of the things that come up. Your response to the state of contingency measures that will be adopted on the 15th, 913-590-303. The code for Portugal, if you're calling from outside of Portugal, 00351. So, yeah, you could do that on WhatsApp as well if you want to as well. 913-590-303. Quick look at the temperatures then around the country this morning. In Porto, you're looking at 18 degrees, partly cloudy, rising to a cloudy 26 today. And I will go in, thanks to Portugal News, I'll go into further detail about the rain that's on its way. Lisbon, 20 degrees and overcast at the moment. 30 degrees to look forward to today, but cloudy. A cloudy day's coming. Coimbra, 20 degrees at the moment, still rising to a very respectable, albeit cloudy, 32 later today. And in the south, Faro, 22 degrees at the moment, overcast, rising to similarly overcast 27. So let's have a look at the this news article about the rain that's on its way. Good morning to you. Everyone's a bit quiet this morning. I've got a good reason. It was Good Morning Portugal Wine Club night last night. Thursdays at 9 on Good Evening Portugal, we do the wine club. And we tried a very famous Portuguese wine, I think, around the world. Look, this is what was around its neck. Slightly misleading, a bit naughty, actually, slightly misleading marketing on this. The Cabrige was okay, but the wine ninjas weren't that impressed with it, actually. I don't know if you've tried the Cabrige Tinto. It was 2017. Whilst you're here, why not tell us about your favorite Portuguese wine, and you can give a tip to us, wine ninjas, the elite squad of the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club, who, as I say, meet on a Thursday evening at 9 o'clock. And actually, if you fancy yourself as a bit of a sommelier wine taster type and you want to recommend a wine and lead a wine tasting session, get in touch with me, PM me, and we can do that. And do recommend your favorite Portuguese wine. For a lot of people, it will be table wine, and the one that doesn't have a label, the one that the waiter brings out, and that's perfectly good enough for me, say many people, and I think they're quite right. And a few faces from last night. It was great to have your company from Ireland joining us, and thank you for your offer, Eugene. Hola, bon dia, everyone. Yeah, it was a great night. Henry Jeffries was there. Bon dia, Carlos. Good morning to you as well, Henry. Tudo bem? Bon dia a todos from Paul Williams. Joe Johnson, hola, bon dia, everyone. This is lovely, isn't it? And Neil Perkins, morning, Carl. Don't worry, you're not alone. And some of them were a bit creaky this morning. I noticed they were struggling with the after effects do you know what? They were blaming the preservatives. Would you believe, for their creakiness this morning? Wendy's here. Bon dia from the Middle East. That's always fantastic to get a message from you, Wendy, in the Middle East. Still hot there? And Maria Costa simply says, pee. Wonder what that means. I see. Don't you sleep? With a P on the end there. I do actually. Not as much as I'd like. It's an interesting question. I'm not sure how much detail to go into, Maria, but it does look like, I'm working all the time because I'm on in the morning and on in the evenings. But I do have a nice time in between times. And I think it's actually quite a nice Portuguese work life, really, to have 2 days, basically, one in the morning and one in the evening, and mix it up and change it a little bit in the afternoon. And we've got 3 young children. So that's how I'm tied up. Sometimes literally, with bungee cords and dressing gown ropes and stuff like that in the afternoons with the kids. So yeah, we're busy. And then what I find is, I don't know if anyone else finds this, because you might have this expat dream of like, yeah, I'll really look after myself when I move to Portugal, and I'll go to bed early and I'll get up with the cockerels. Actually, that's all. Thank you for that prompt. That's the word of the palavra do dia today is, I thought I changed it. I've got to change that live on the show now. Hold on a minute. You might have seen as we started, I will come back to, looking after yourself as an expat in just a moment. But I thought I changed the palavra do dia, and I didn't save it, so I'll just do that right away because I want you to see this. You might have seen Barbara on the starter screen, one of our hens, Barbara Streisand. She has a friend called Kate Bush. That's 2 of the 6. I think we've got a Diana Ross as well. And we're open to names for our hens, and I'll just show you her picture again so you can get an idea of what sort of hens they are if you want to venture a name yourself. It'll go quiet for this stamp. There she is, almost saying no photos please, right? If you saw that picture of her just then. So that's Barbara, and one of the 6 is laying reliably now. We've had them for about 6 months, I think. Maybe not as long as that. And they are wonderful. And one of them has made an improvised little nest and 2 eggs every day for the last week. It's really lovely. So there you go. Word of the day, galinha and galo. And going back to Maria's question about sleeping. Yeah, I wonder if there's anybody in a kind of rhythm like me where by the time I finish the Good Evening Portugal stint, it's getting sort of 11 o'clock and I might be drinking the rest of the bottle from the wine club or something like that. But I watch a bit of TV. I watch films on Portuguese TV. And last night I watched Devil's Advocate, which is not for the faint-hearted, is it? Let's face it, but a pretty good snapshot. Donald Trump's mentioned in it in a very visionary way, actually. But it's a nice bit of peaceful time. And then I look at the clock and it's like, oh dear, now it's midnight. Maybe I should go to bed. And then it's 12:30. Then it's 1 o'clock. Sometimes it's 2. And I realize it's like, it's just a nice quiet time. Sometimes Mrs. M is sat up with me as well. It's a nice time for, grown-up time. That is not a euphemism. But yeah, just to hang out and be together without, the racket of the kids. And there's just all these sort of 4 seasons in one day. And it's hard to squeeze it into 24 hours. So I don't know if you find that as an expat who thought, I'll go to bed at 9 with the sun, or 10. And they'll get up with the sun at 5 or 6. Did that actually happen? Did that really happen for you? Or are you like me, staying up watching Portuguese or Hollywood movies on Portuguese TV into the early hours? Before I tell you more about the rain that's coming, which will be a welcome hydration for some people here. Hi, Carl, just finishing the painting of the Adega from black to white. Now I can see. I thought it was like a miracle. Now I can see. I have been trying to build up enough courage to try one of the 12 bottles of wine left by the previous owner. I suspect they might be LVBV. Does anyone know what that means? Well, here it is. Later vintage bottled vinegar. I had a similar experience, actually. I videoed it. You know me, don't miss a chance to make a video. And I found something that was labeled up as 1962 Cantanheda. And I decided I would try it live on Facebook, and obviously clearly survived to tell the tale. But I think it was a rebottling, and it was a little bit vinegary, it has to be said, but not terrible, surprisingly. But it could have been anything. I don't know what I was thinking, but it's there on the, I think it might be on the Good Morning Portugal collection of videos. Do subscribe here. Bond. This is a kind of Welsh hybrid here, Bondi. I think that's a typo, Bon dia. But good morning to you, Rosson Newton, Jane Elizabeth. That's a nice long name there for me to read out. Yes, good bon dia to you as well. Do I call you Rosson? Let me know, because I'd like to know that I'm addressing you correctly. Looks a little troubled, like Britney Spears in her skinhead phase. Just wondering what you were talking about. Hold on a minute. Just so you know what Henry's talking about. Here's Barbara Streisand once. He's absolutely right. So maybe one of them should be called Britney Spears. So we've got Barbara Streisand, Kate Bush, Britney Spears, Diana Ross. Just 2 more to go. And there we go. Here they are. You have to have a Whitney and a Madonna. Sorted. Thanks, everybody. That's done and dusted very quickly. Brilliant. Awesome. And if you hear an Englishman in the Portuguese countryside shouting out, Whitney, Madonna, Diana, come on, come and get Brittany, come on. Where are you? Oh, fantastic. Call the chicken, Cabidela, a famous. Oh no, I've got to get another chicken to make sure I use that name. Cabidela, is that a Pete wind-up, I wonder? I'm going to have to look that up, aren't I? And perhaps I should have looked it up before I read it out. We'll see. But thanks for that, Pete. All meant in the best possible taste in those immortal words. Bon dia, mon dia. Still a lovely farm for sale around 6 kilometers from Ceuta. Nice one, Sean. He's using the small ads there in the comments. Checks in the post. What am I on, Sean? What am I on commission-wise? If we make a sale on that lovely farm 6 kilometers from Ceuta, am I on the standard Portuguese 5%, or do we need to negotiate, you and me? And that's what Al Pacino says to Keanu in Devil's Advocate. Keanu in his Southern says, "Are we negotiating?" And of course, Al Pacino says, "Always." Hoo-ah! He doesn't do that in that movie, but any minute I'm expecting him, even in Devil's Advocate, to go, "Hoo-ah! Ah, the scent of a woman." Morning, Carl. We have now moved. Do you like my impersonations? I'll stop it if you like. Morning, Carl. We have now moved into our new home just outside São Brás do Portel. The motorhome is having a well-earned rest for a couple of months. We have been to the town hall and applied for residency. Yay! Just waiting for a call to say it has been processed. All very exciting times. Most importantly for Jerry, he has already had his UK sports package installed. Ooh, I say. I think you're going to have to explain what having your UK sports package installed means, Dawn, just for the sake of clarification there. And it is so lovely to hear your news as well. Dawn and Jerry, very, very early supporters of the Good Morning Portugal project. So I thank you for that, your commitment to what we do here back in the day, I think a couple of years ago. And just to see your journey, which is now results in your residency application. So fingers crossed for that. I'm sure that'll all be fine now, Dawn and Jerry. Good timing, folks. Good timing. So, yeah, all the best to you both and your motorhome that's now having a well-earned rest. I'm sure you could hire it out if you wanted to. Plenty of people would want to hire that, but it's quite a personal thing, isn't it? You may not want to do that, of course. Your breakfast wine recommendation this morning, please, from Henry, who is... I think responding to Gary's comment, yeah, Henry came up last night with, I think this would work well as a breakfast wine. And here's his mum. What do you think about that, Penny? Henry and his breakfast wine. Morning from Penny in Devon in the UK. Craig Whiteley, good morning. Feeling gutted this morning as our holiday to the Algarve has been cancelled after our trip to Lisbon was cancelled in July. Is that because of the quarantine thing, Craig? You can't do it because you're now back in a quarantine situation. Oh, thanks for bringing a little Portuguese sunshine to the UK. Well, we do our best every morning, Craig, but I'm really sorry to hear that. 2 cancellations, and that is because of these seemingly arbitrary decisions that are being made that few of us can find any sense in. I suppose the only justification that I can really go with is that, when you're in a business of public health, you work on numbers and you have to set the level somewhere. And it makes for crushing decisions like the one you're facing at the moment. And, I guess that's politics, isn't it? You're not dealing with people, really. You start to deal with numbers. And that's not very nice for the people you're dealing with, as you're discovering this morning, Craig, and many other people, sadly. Wayne Barker, bon dia. And yeah, Craig, I hope you third time lucky, basically. Okay, so fingers crossed. I'm sure the Good Morning Portugal collective will have a collective crossing of everything so that your third trip to Portugal is a successful one and doesn't get cancelled again. Bom dia, todos. Oh, here we go. Aloft está vazio agora. Que bom isso. Oh, Wayne, that's advanced Portuguese. I'll let someone else translate that, but I'm impressed. Whatever you're saying there, I'm impressed, sir. Good morning to you. I can see a chicken's head in the bed scene as I drink my tea. Your acting career is obviously on the up. Oh, wow. Yes. Oh, my goodness. What a connection. Thank you, Neil. And it's such an amazing movie. Yeah, I won't say any more about that. I know there are a few movie fans here. Oh, and Gary, I had an idea for your what do you call your Guy Dager, your your man cave? Why don't you start a film club in there? Yeah, I'd come over for a Sunday afternoon movie, maybe get a big screen in there and show a classic, because I know you're into your movies, aren't you? Yes, and Henry's mother, in response to him introducing the idea of a breakfast wine, is saying, I thought she was going to say red or white, but she's saying, is it morning wine or a morning wine? She knows you better than anyone, Henry. When you've known him as long as me, you can call him John Daniel's son. I don't know that. I don't understand what that reference is, but I'm just taking it as another opportunity to do my Al Pacino impersonation. What an actor he is. Mark Rigby, bon dia from Southsea this morning. And good morning to you as well, Mark. Wonderful. And thanks for your contribution, Mark, to the Portugal playlist. We'll be out this week. Has it me, or has this week gone really, really quickly? We like to go out for a Friday lunch or Friday evening meal. And I can't believe it's come around again, quite incredibly. But yeah, Portugal playlist, your Portuguese tunes, the ones that you listen to when you're on your way, or now that you're here, the Portuguese music you've learned about. Portugal playlist, proper radio show, Monday evenings. Natalie, good morning to you. Bom dia from Ermidas Sado. My boyfriend Vitor is Portuguese and is enjoying his show. That to me is high praise. So Vitor, muito obrigado, tudo bem? And that's where it kind of ends, because I get a bit self-conscious and embarrassed. But I'm so glad to hear that an actual Portuguese person likes this show. And do you have a recommendation? We've been doing Portugal, Portuguese bread all week, Vitor. What should we know? He's had a UK TV sister. This is Jerry. Oh, his UK package. Got it. His UK sports package. He needs to be in our Expat Sport Report community. Please, Dawn, Friday evening from 10 o'clock, Expat Sport Report with the rather marvellous and probably slightly hungover, FD Devane is his stage name. We know him as Frank. He's had filtered Frank or unfiltered Frank, depending on the mood he's in and how much Russian beer he's been drinking. Yes, so to explain Jerry's sports package, he's had a UK TV system set up on the TV via the internet. He can now watch his rugby, football, golf, cricket, tennis, any sport going, really. We did rent out our motorhome for a holiday let out in the UK, but not to drive it. It stayed on our drive. Oh, it's like an Airbnb. Come stay in our motorhome. That's really canny. Fantastic. Adam Freeman, Attica. Is that the film recommendation? So we're looking like we're having a GMP film club suddenly. Attica. That's oh dear, I've put myself in awkward territory here. So that presumably is a Pacino movie. I don't know if I've seen that or not. And Scent of a Woman, yes, of course. What a remarkable performance, if nothing else, in that film. I really liked it. Bon dia from Nat and Dave. Hi, Nat Smith. Bon dia from Nat and Dave on the Cotswolds. Deliberating whether you make the big move to Portugal. Loving your show. Well, if you ask anyone here, Nat Smith or Nat and Dave, deliberating whether you make the big move to Portugal, it's going to be a resounding sim grande, I think, or push. Yeah. Come on, do it. Another word that we've learned this week: Portugal esta fixe. It's really cool here. It is great. I don't know what further encouragement you need. Is it the bending of the rubber arm, as Frank was talking about last night? Come on, you know you wanna. Neil Perkins got to scoot, picking up friends for the weekend. I could make a joke there. I won't. Bon fin de semana a todos. Very good. Bon fin de semana a todos from Neil. See you later, mate. Thank you very much for tuning in. And Dog Day Afternoon as well. These are all the Al Pacino movies, aren't they? Incredible. Ty Johnson says, thank you for that, Adam. We booked a trip to the UK, only to be told 2 days later that quarantine is back in place in the UK. Not the end of the world for us. So would you go and do that and lock yourselves down for 2 weeks as a kind of visit to the UK, or would you just give it a miss? Nat Smith, do it and do it soon. Is Gary's advice. I told you that's what people would say here. So rain returning to Portugal, just very quickly, 20 minutes past already, lots to tell you. Might have to drop an article or two here. But rain returning to Portugal. So if you're looking at the weekend weather, The long, dry summer is due to come to an abrupt end on Sunday, with rain predicted across Portugal and temperatures falling. That might have changed Nat's mind. It's temporary. Don't worry. I'm sure there's a little bit more summer, or what English people would recognize as summer, to be squeezed out of this year here in Portugal. Lisbon, rain clouds will begin to roll in on Saturday, with heavy rain expected in the capital on Sunday. The rain is to continue until Tuesday, and temperatures are to drop to average highs of 27 degrees and lows of 19. The remainder of the week is expected to be dry, but with a chance of rain. To me, that's not really an abrupt end, is it? I mean, that makes it sound, we're looking at an online newspaper here, so I guess they have to put a little bit of writer's license in there, but that sounds like a temporary glitch rather than an abrupt end. The north, it is to remain dry on Saturday before rain sets in on Sunday, and temperatures fall to highs of 29, lows of 17. The rain is to continue for the rest of the week in the north with, so if not an abrupt end, a gentle fizzling out of the summer possibly in the north. Rain is to continue for the rest of the week with temperatures feeling cooler, with highs lowering to 23, if that makes any sense, and lows lowering to 15. In central Portugal, hazy cloud expected on Saturday, with cloud cover then increasing on Sunday, although it will remain warm with average highs of 30 degrees and lows of 23 degrees. On Monday and Tuesday, there'll be a high chance of rain before drying up for the rest of the week. Great. And so it's a little break for gardening, isn't it? And working outdoors, basically, and having a walk to town without baking in the sun. Got myself a new hat, €5. Beautiful looking hat. I have been wearing Mrs. M's kind of floppy hat. And I did get some funny looks, actually. That weird English guy goes out with his kids in the midday sun with his wife's hat on. So now I'm looking a lot more respectable and normal, if you can believe that. The south, Saturday will remain dry and bright with temperatures reaching highs of 28 degrees. That's not too shabby, is it? And lows of 22. Rain is predicted for Sunday and Monday in the south of Portugal, and we'll see temperatures fall to highs of 24, lows of 19. Rest of the week in the south expected to be mainly dry with northerly winds. And as we discovered, that's winds coming from the north and hopefully not bringing its rain with it. So there you go. That's the rain prediction. Weekend weather for you, thanks to the Portugal news there. And the all-important, we need to see the hat. What, the old one, Mrs. M's hat that I used to wear into town. I'll do a comparison on Monday if you like. They're not easily to hand, and they may have been eaten by the dog already, but I'll see what we can do there. Yeah. Hold on a minute. Lots of comments. Oh, this is fantastic. Thank you so much. Yeah. Nat, do it soon. Says Gary. Vitor recommends Pau de Mafra and Pau de Alentejo. Thank you, Vitor. Really nice. We have an insider, folks, working for us, with us. Henry Jeffries. We still went during the first quarantine in August. Okay. And Adam, get to your rant on the state of contingency. It's coming, Adam, it's coming. Same for us, Nat, deliberating. Ty Johnson, I spent a lovely day walking dogs at the local shelter. Lots of exercise for both the dogs and I. That sounds really nice and a lovely thing to be doing. Thank you. I think you're all convincing us, and it's a no-brainer. Yes, our work here is done. With Nat and Dave there, fantastic, in the Cotswolds. So yeah, come drink coffee and beer and wine with us soon. Bon dia, Carl. Late today in a very overcast Manchester. Claire and Steve, good morning to you both. Lovely to have you here, just in time for the contingency rant. And Adam's encouraging me. We need to see the hat. Okay, Monday for the hats, maybe. Only if you all send in pictures of your hats that you've bought to save your... I mean, some of us are saving our balding bonces from the searing and scorching heat. I certainly need to do that these days. Or I could go out with these on, couldn't I, and develop a nice band across the top of my head instead. Okay, then, Adam, you got it. State of contingency. This is happening. And thanks to Safe Communities Portugal for their consistently reliable coverage here. You know, someone's got to do it, haven't they, without the ranting, and keep it to the facts. And it remains for the rest of us to go into a bit of interpretation. And I do make a little bit of an apology for that, but that's the preface here, is I will interject with my feelings, emotions, and whatever else occurs to me. This is not really, I mean, I call it news, It's a bit of reportage with a little bit of opinion chucked on top, and I advise you to do the same. I think it's important that people speak out on this, and we go into greater detail on Good Evening Portugal, 10 o'clock most evenings. So here we go. The Council of Ministers discussed on Thursday, yesterday, the measures to be implemented from next Tuesday. This is when the state of contingency really kicks in. And people who are thinking of coming to Portugal, don't let any of this put you off. It's pretty much the same everywhere, isn't it? Just a little preface there, not to put anybody off coming to Portugal. We want you to be here for when things do lift off and we can all contribute to the economy more easily. The measures were presented by the Prime Minister and are as follows. A lot of bullet points here, folks. Let me know what you think in the comments. Gatherings to be limited to 10 people. So I thought I might be able to go and watch Anadia FC, my new adopted team, walking distance from the house. Can't go to football. Commercial establishments cannot be open before 10 a.m. with exceptions. And I wonder what those exceptions are going to be. But that's a harsh blow, is it not? Commercial establishments cannot be open before 10 in the morning. Quite nice if those workers are getting a lie in, I guess. But that's a blow, that one. Closing, excuse me, just going to have a sip of water for a minute before my rant can. Oh, that's better. Okay. Closing hours of establishments between 8 and 11 by municipal decision. Again, a blow to Portuguese social and commercial life. In shopping centre areas, there's a maximum limit of 4 people per group. That means my family can't go to the shopping centre. A family of 5. I mean, that's not a complaint, but it's just, so arbitrary. Like I said, public health is about numbers, isn't it? Government decisions are about numbers. If we didn't learn this before the pandemic, this message is certainly being brought home to us now, isn't it? That governments do not care about individuals. And that's not an attack on governments. It's just at that scale, it can't be done. It's not personal anymore, is it? It's just like they're dealing with numbers, and you fall, and certainly Donny isn't he? Big numbers, tremendous numbers. They are dealing with numbers, and you fall the right or wrong side of that, and like, so be it. And then you get your chance to vote them in or out for another set of people to deal with big numbers. So in shopping centre areas, maximum limit of 4 people per group. Prohibition. This is an interesting one. Prohibition on selling alcoholic beverages at service stations. If you didn't know this already, yes, you can buy a nice cold beer at a service station, and that will be prohibited now from 8 p.m. In all establishments except with meals, I believe. And the prohibition here of alcohol consumption on public roads. Now, I think this might refer to the Portuguese culture, and I've seen this, of men gathering at petrol stations to have a cold beer and then presumably drive home afterwards. And when you come from a culture that's like cracked down on drink driving some decades ago, it does seem a little bit Wild West and very charming in many ways. But the government may well have taken advantage of the situation to end that, probably with a lot of public safety pressure. But I don't, that just seems quite a random thing, and maybe sort of something they wanted to do that they've shoehorned in as a result of the state of contingency. But the prohibition of alcohol consumption on public roads, which will sound so weird to some people, won't it? Where that is forbidden anyway. Return to classes in person between 14th and 17th of September, upgrading the functioning of schools to the new health reality, with attention to gatherings with schools, namely in the surrounding commercial establishments, and the hours of departure. So, yes, in restaurants, cafes, and pastry shops, the padaria, pastelerias, 300 kilometers from schools, a maximum limit of 4 people per group. So they don't want the kids coming out of school having all given each other the virus potentially, then piling into a cafe only to give it to the older, more vulnerable people, presumably. And again, public health at work here. If it's 301 meters from the school, it's okay. So imagine there's a few restaurateurs, cafe owners, and pastry shops getting their tape measures out at the moment and say, we're actually 301 meters, we're fine. Upgrading the functioning of schools. Oh, we've done that. Contingency plans in all schools, distribution of personal protective equipment, PPE. Those are some of the saddest pictures, aren't they, of this pandemic, is to see a classroom full of kids in masks. And I posted up what I thought was a hilarious meme, like a kid in a full body hazmat suit. Doesn't he look cute on his first day at school? Reference framework for suspected cases, positive cases, or outbreaks. That'll be this kind of track and trace thing, won't it? District rapid intervention brigades to contain and stabilize outbreaks in care homes. And imagine what came to mind there is some cheeky grannies who imagine that the District Rapid Intervention Brigade might look like a load of hunky firemen and then pretend that there's an outbreak in their care home just so they can get all these hunks stripped to the chest to come and rescue them. That's how my mind works, folks. Sports venues remain without public. What is a sports venue without the public? Have you got used to this sport without crowds or a canned crowd? To me, I'm not the biggest sports fan in the world, but any interest I've got in going to see the football now, I'm just thinking, I can't, I'm disappointed I can't go. And I'm not that fussed. I just thought it'd be quite a good thing to do on a local level to go and support the local football team. And I can't go. And just the idea of sport without crowds. What's that like for the players? Maybe it's better for them, not being abused by the fans of the other team. So I'm keen to know. I'm not just going to go into the detail of all of those bullet points because there's a lot there. And the thing with this, of course, is part, to me, this is not what Safe Communities Portugal are saying. This is what I'm saying, is it was always easier, wasn't it, when the guidance was very clear. And I don't want a lockdown, certainly not saying, that we should go back to that. But the more complex it gets, I think the more cynical and basically, frankly, peed off people become. Not quite, that state of uncertainty. Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? It's no way to live. I think it's pretty grim. So let's see what you got to say about that, folks. I'm just going to find my right place in the comments here. Will, good morning to you, Will. Sad day for me. One of the most reliable sources I have is calling it a day on COVID investigation. Is that the English guy? I can't remember his name. What comes next is more socio-political, not epidemiological, and that's people. I don't understand people. So who is it who's retired from that mix, Will? Which one of your sources? We will still go to the UK and accept the quarantine rules, Ty. Okay, fair enough. And good morning from sunny Cascais from Terry Hamill. Good morning to you. A new name, I believe, on the screen. So good morning to you, Terry. Andrew Scarborough. Hola, bon dia from Australia. Awesome. Portugal's resurgence is similar to Melbourne, Victoria. Recent outbreaks. Learn from what we have already done. Our numbers have been similar. I do not want a repetition of the horrors I've seen from Victoria, Andrew, with all due respect. It's 9:33, and I think that's a debate for the Good Evening Portugal, isn't it? I have some strong feelings about what I believe to be going on in Australia, I can't. It just seems to me that the characters of the government are very different. Thank goodness, between Portugal and Australia for a start, albeit controversial. Should I say, more testing, more cases, and I don't know if we would expect the same trajectory. I'm open. I like to think of myself as open-minded. I'm just sharing that with you. That is my first response. It may not be a right one, and I'm open to talking about it. Always have been. So thank you for that, Andrew. Will Thompson. Don't get the no alcohol on the street. Yeah, our village adapted quickly to loads of chairs outside on the streets at all cafes, which was a great move and was taken advantage of. Yes, al fresco. But that is being challenged. Good morning from sunny Fundao. And has anyone gone for a drink at a petrol station in the local style? I wonder if anyone's tried that. Yes, good morning to you, Julie. Good morning from sunny Fundao. Yes, the sun always shines in Fundao, does it not? Cherry capital of Portugal, and a wonderful part of the world where my friends, if it were Fungi Friday, we'd be talking to Shimajito mushrooms over there in Fundao as well. Don't forget their offer this week of home-delivered exotic mushrooms. No, not that sort. Your edibles, your culinary mushrooms delivered to your door. $16.90, I think, a month for 300 grams a week, delivered to your doorstep in Fundao. I don't know if you've taken advantage of that. Julie, coming to Porto soon. No more roadside drinking for me then. Penny is gutted. Her roadside drinking habits are over, at least for the time being. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news there, Penny. Talking about imagination, will you be bringing out the 40-year-old you mentioned last night? I say it's almost as if people are waiting for me to say something like that. This follows in the long line of Werther's leather trousers, lederhosen, and now I was talking about bringing out a 40-year-old aguardente, not a 40-year-old. Thank you, Gary. Don't know about Portugal, but S Club 7 are in serious trouble in the UK as of Monday. Henry, again, sorry to be the bearer of bad news. I think S Club 7 probably are not together anymore. And in fact, they may well be within the regulations because there's only two of them still working together who still speak to each other. And Sclub 2 is not a great name for a band, is it really? Jeff, thank you, Henry. Bon dia. Does it mean that people cannot drink their beaker before work at 10 a.m.? Yeah, well, you know, it said in brackets with exceptions. I would have thought that there may be coffee kiosks or something like that that supply people with coffee before 10 a.m. because that is the sort of thing, you know, any politician thinking about this stuff is obviously going to be thinking about the question, the implementation of a measure that people just will not stand for. And you know, there's probably a go-to thing, isn't there, in each respective country? No, we can't do that. The people would just be rioting, and that's the sort of thing I think could happen in Portugal. If you don't let people drink coffee before 10 o'clock in Portugal, that's the sort of thing that could bring massive civil unrest. But then, if they haven't had coffee, maybe they won't be energetic enough to have unrest. We'll see. And I think it's one of those questions and uncertainties I was talking about that causes, you know, ill feeling and awkwardness and anxiety, Jenny. We will see. And it doesn't kick in until the 15th. So 4 more days of drinking coffee before 10 at least. No breakfast wine on public roads then. I'm afraid not, Henry. Thumbs down. He's withdrawing, not coming to Portugal after all. P. and Jackson, good morning to you. Should have been flying to Lisbon today from the UK. So sad right now. I think, you know, like, as was said earlier on, you know, we are offering a little bit of sunshine from Portugal. I know it's you know, it's not the same, but the blue sky behind me, the galo behind me there, you know, word of the day, the galinha and the galo, the Barcelo cockerel there. Just if that's any consolation at all. And I'm sad for you as well that you can't make it, Pete and Jackson. So sorry. And if in some way this is a minor consolation for you, then all well and good. But yeah, that's awful. Adam Freeman, rant ended. Where was the obligatory "the man is keeping us down" comment? Hooah! Oh dear. That's the listening for me, is it? Oh, I've become that guy, have I? sticking it to the man guy on the Good Morning Portugal live stream. I was hoping that would never happen, but there it's happened. Thank you, Adam, for pointing that out. Peak prosperity. Oh, no, I think I did squeeze it in there a little bit, didn't I? And especially with the coffee thing, right? Peak prosperity with Chris Martinson. Okay, yeah, that was always a good source, wasn't it? He covered all the bases and questioned what needed to be questioned. He is moving back to sustainability and resilience, gardening, etc. Yes, happy homesteading. And that was our tip here, wasn't it, on Good Morning Portugal? Marvelous service here from Mrs. M, who's brought me some beverages to keep me going. Thank you. Enough proof now that low-cost therapeutics and health are 90% of the answers. Yes, just need now for the wider medical and political establishments, all the people, to push that to the fore. Yay, what's that? Colloidal silver? And a little bit of colloidal zinc. Do you know what? Talking of low-cost therapeutics, and Jeff, if he's listening, will approve of this. It looks like water. Some might say it looks like vodka too, but it is actually water, filtered water with colloidal silver and colloidal zinc. Adam, do I really seem like the conspiracy sort? Maximum 6 people together in. Thank you, Gary. Yeah, echoing Henry's comment there. Do you know, this could be really good for S Club 7s. It's a bit like when Rick Astley had his sort of return to the spotlight inadvertently because he was part of a meme or something, wasn't he? Now S Club 7 are going the same way, aren't they? With the who knew? Certainly them. They didn't know that their careers might be reinvigorated by pandemic measures. So let's see. Yes, because there ain't no party like an S Club party, of course. I can hear those tunes in my mind, and maybe we need to give them a spin on Monday on the Portugal playlist, but maybe not. Okay, so a bit more news, as I'm still reeling from that comment. Rant ended. You were waiting for that, weren't you? Where was the obligatory "the man is keeping us down" comment? And of course, the obligatory now Al Pacino comment. Hooah! Right. I want to share with you the Ana Gomes. Look, we have a presidential candidate in the form of Ana Gomes challenging the very popular Marcelo. It has been muted for months, but today, finally, former PS MEP and anti-corruption firebrand, excellent moniker that. And Ana Gomes launched an official bid for the presidency, declaring herself the only candidate for democratic socialism, showing continued perplexity at PS Socialist failure to field a candidate of their own. She said she was standing for transparency. Yay, 2020. You have brought some strange things to this world. Of course, inanimate years that are randomly named according to the Roman calendar or whatever cannot bring things to us. But in this year known as 2020, we have seen some strange phenomena and challenges to humanity. And I also have to say, isn't it wonderful that we now see a transparency candidate? You thought I was going to say a woman candidate, right? That fair enough. But I think it's more important than the gender issue here is the transparency issue for me anyway. She praised President Marcelo for his first term, as well as fellow candidate Marisa Matias, standing for Bloco de Esquerda, but alluded at the same time to part of the system that has been eroded by installed interests which neither serve nor represent the Portuguese people. Yay! For the PS, yes, still managing to stick it to the man in here, Adam. For the PS Socialists, whose Secretary General Antonio Costa effectively put the government's support behind a second term with Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa in a car manufacturing plant well ahead of the presidential race, is something of an embarrassing moment. The truth is, Jimmy Chu scratching the door down. The truth is that it is unusual for the party not to field a candidate of its own, but it could be equally fair to say that there is unlikely to be any candidate, left, right, or even centre, who could possibly unseat Marcelo. Yes, such is his popularity, saving damsels in distress from the Algarve Sea, shaking the hand of Donald Trump so vigorously that we think he won that contest. I wonder if Ana Gomes has a handshake like Marcelo's and the hugging Marcelfi charisma. He is arguably the most popular Portuguese president of all time, though he has still to reveal whether he is prepared to run for a second term. Oh, that could change things then. For now, the field is becoming clear. Ana Gomes for the centre-left that don't support their own leaders' support for Marcelo. Marisa Matias for the left, and Andre Ventura, that's a great name, isn't it? Andre Ventura for the right, or as many would say, the extreme right. Ventura has already criticised both his female candidates in a way pundits recalls Donald Trump. Oh, so like everywhere has a Trump these days, don't they? He has also vowed that he will quit as leader of Chega, the controversial party. Like, yeah, enough is enough, right? If Ana Gomes polls more votes than he does, I imagine she's sure to, right? And then he will do the kind of marginalized, hurt, kind of extreme right thing, although probably he wouldn't call himself extreme right. But what a mirror of politics all over the world. It's so dull, isn't it? It's like cars these days. Excuse me. Cars all look the same now. Does anyone remember when cars looked different? And now, like global politics, globalized politics, it all looks the same. Different countries, different faces, same kind of format. Boring. And so little representation at community level. And for the, if I may use your name, Adam, for the free man, the sovereign man, where is he in this? But now the real question on everyone's mind is, will Marcelo stand again and deliver more of the magic that kept this country with a spring in its step until COVID-19 brought everything crashing down? Excellent reporting as ever from Natasha Don there in the Portugal resident. Sorry, just need to cough again. And I'll have a sip of my colloidal silver. Right. I won't do the Rui Pinto story. For those of you who are following the situation with whistleblower Rui Pinto, he made a statement on the 4th of September as the trial began. For me, it's an interesting one. And it's all part of this, whistleblowing, transparency, anti-corruption vibe, I'm going to call it at the moment. And we'll finish today, because we've been looking at bread all week, or as I like to say it in our house in a Hovis advert style, bread. We will look at a Portuguese bread recipe. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs also, I'm not going to say that out loud, but they also, let me say, affected by the new measures. Area 51. He is goading me this morning, Adam. And I suspect you have a little penchant yourself for some of these ideas, and you are surrogating me maybe to speak out on such things. As I said, anytime on Good Evening Portugal, I have to keep it light and fluffy. I think in the mornings here on Good Morning Portugal, you rascal Adam Freeman. Yes, just teasing, of course. you could have said worse. Let's stop aliens and meditation. Oh, let's start doing aliens and meditation. I already do the meditation bit, right? Get Dr. Greer in the loop. You'll have to tell me. Yes. So Adam says, I'm just teasing, but Will says, I'm not. I actually do a meditation show at 10 o'clock every weekday morning. PM me if you're interested in that. Last night on the Portugal calling webinar we did with Expats Portugal, it was really good. It was like, you could be forgiven for thinking it was football. It was like Portugal versus USA. And it was a comparison of living costs. And it was quite remarkable at times, notable exceptions. I mean, most things, much better quality of life, value for money in Portugal, sometimes a third of what people were paying in North America, with the notable exceptions of motor cars and spectacles, is what we came up with. A moment came up when we were talking about Wi-Fi, and dear old Prosecco Peggy said, I've got 2 foot thick walls here, so that's not very good for Wi-Fi transmission. And someone else said, Maria, I think, when we went up to the Gisto villages of Portugal, they had slate construction, slate roofs, and no Wi-Fi could get through that. And I said, well, that could be a bonus for some people. They could live in a house with 2 foot thick walls and a slate roof and be protected from electromagnetic radiation. Some people are actually looking for that. And then some wag said yes, and they can get, of course, because they're North Americans, an aluminum hat from the Oriental shop as well, which is a very kind of conspiracy theory, Chinese shop, Portugal in-joke kind of hybrid situation there. No, man, just goading. Yeah, I know. But let's do it. Seriously, Adam, let's do it one evening on Good Evening Portugal. I call that the open-minded expat chat show and phone in. And seriously, I'm well up for looking at anything like Area 51, tinfoil hats, and sticking it to the man in the evening. Bon fin de semana and reach for the sky, brother. Hooah! Just one more of those before we do the bread recipe. So make your own, you happy homesteaders. Actually, I would find it difficult never to buy bread again and go to being a sort of hardcore homesteader. For me, bread is one of the marvelous things about Portugal. And let me just try and share that again. I wasn't happy about that. Our simple bread, a courtesy of food from Portugal. Yeah, I will continue to buy bread in Portuguese bakeries and cafes, with the risk of whatever people tell you about, too many carbs, diabetes, etc. But for me, I eat it joyously and lovingly. And for me, it's a wonderful part of Portuguese life, and a little of what you fancy does you good. But look at that loaf there. This is, yes, foodfromportugal.com, not a site I've seen before. Food from Portugal was created. Okay, enough of the pop-ups already. Food from Portugal was created with the purpose to divulge the Portuguese food to all corners of the world. So we present the site in 2 languages, English and Portuguese, thus increasing its reach to more people. Here we go. If you like bread and want to try making a simple homemade bread for the first time, this recipe is right for you. It's pretty simple, folks, which is great. With very few ingredients, we can prepare a tasty bread, serve warm for breakfast, along with your wine, Henry, and butter. Oh, and olive oil in your case as a vegan. White flour, water, and baker's yeast is all you need for this. Baker, may I have some of your yeast? How to prepare simple bread. In a bowl, mix the flour and the salt, add the baker's yeast and mix well. Pour the olive oil and some of the water. hold on, where did the olive oil suddenly come from? That's not in the ingredients there. Or maybe it's just assumed that everything has olive oil in it anyway in Portugal. Add the baker's yeast and mix well. Pour the olive oil and some of the water. Knead everything with your hands and go slowly pouring the remaining water. This is getting a bit, what's her name? That, not Delia, the one that gets all sensual with her recipes. We're going that way here, aren't we, with the hand kneading. Place the dough over a table sprinkled with flour and knead it well until it's fully involved and soft. Oh, I say, fully involved and soft. This is sounding like 50 Shades of Bread. When this process is completed, let the dough, it gets worse, let the dough rise in a bowl covered with cling film. I'm thinking it's like a prank recipe here, just until the dough, it doubles in size. Remove the dough from the bowl and knead it a little more. Give the dough, this is carry on baking. Give the dough a round shape and place it in a baking tray lined with parchment paper. Okay, that wasn't in 50 Shades of Grey, was it? In a baking tray lined with parchment paper. But who knows? In the third film of the franchise, maybe that will come up. Cover with cling film and let it stand for about 45 minutes. And who doesn't like a 45-minute stand? Remove the cling film and with a sharp knife make 3 to 4 diagonal cuts across the dough and sprinkle with some flour. Bake for about 30 to 35 minutes until the bread starts to turn golden brown. Texture like sun. Remove the bread from the oven, allow to cool to room temperature and serve. And you want to do that on a wire rack, otherwise you'll end up, of course, with a soggy bottom. That was quite something to get through without smirking a lot and making even more smutty references. So there you go. That is your bread recipe if you want to try it for yourself. I think I need to put the link to that in the Happy Homesteaders, and I will take that moment. Yes, it was Nigella, of course, wasn't it? Thank you, Mark. Possibly a Nigella fan there. Pop-up brother is watching. And these pop-ups are just another part of the man. Yes, it is part of the it's not just the military industrial, is it? It's the military industrial marketing complex. I think you're absolutely right there, Adam. And Penny says, my husband, you're really riffing on this theme, Adam. I like it. My husband makes all our bread. My favorite is olive and lemon. And I think she's made me say this on purpose. Focaccia. Got away with that. Thank you, Penny. Thank you, everybody, this morning for your comments. Thank you, Adam. Let's talk one evening on Good Evening Portugal. Let's do it on Tuesday night, the news hour. That's a good moment to go into some what would he call it? You know, like some alternative conversation. Let's call it that, in an open-minded and respectful way. Wonderful. And there are more comments. Keep coming. I've got to go do my meditation now, folks. This last comment doesn't want to scroll through, but I do wish you a bon fin de semana. The surveillance economy. Absolutely right. And you know a lot about this. Food from Portugal is an excellent resource. It is. I've just discovered it. Thank you. And I like the way they write as well, Paul Williams. So I'm another new fan there. Thank you for your forbearance again and your commitment. 53 minutes past the hour. I've talked a lot and you can hear my voice is giving out. I will douse my tonsils with colloidal silver now, as directed by Nurse Munson, and wish you a bon fin de semana. Don't forget, word of the day, word of the weekend, galinha, galo, and once cooked frango, of course. And all of those palavra de dias will be on the blog over the weekend sometime. I'm going to take it easy and we'll see you Monday. But of course, not until we've had the Expat Sport Report tonight, where we'll be looking at all those Larry away strips. If you don't know what that means, tune in. And yeah, if you've ever contributed towards the Good Morning Portugal project via coffee.com/Carl Munson that's on the screen there, all the palavra de dias go to anyone who's ever bought me a coffee on there. So if you want to do that, I'd be most grateful. We're crowdfunded. And yes, have a super weekend. Take care and bye for now.